Hello everybody, welcome to GIS Pathshala, Grade 8, Social Science History. See, our chapter is about tribals, Dikkus and the vision of a golden age. Tribal means those people who are roaming and living in the forest. In simple language, we are saying Adivasis. And Dikkus means outsiders. Dikkus means outsiders. Those made these tribal people dependent on them. And because of this, tribal people suffers a lot and their life became very miserable. So the simple meaning of Dikkus means outsider. Dikkus means outsider and the vision of golden age. Now you can see in 1895 a man named Birsa was seen roaming in the forest and villages of Chota Nagpur in Jharkhand. See, one person is there, Birsa Munda. In 1895, he was seen roaming in the forests and villages of Chota Nagpur in Jharkhand. People said he had miraculous power, he could cure all the disease and multiply grains. See how people were saying that he had having the miraculous and ample of strength he was having. So he can cure any of the disease and he can multiply the grain. Means suppose one grain is there, he was making ample of grains. Birsa himself declared that God had appointed him to save his people from trouble, free from the slavery of Dikkus. See what Birsa was also saying, that God had sent him to solve the problem of his people and took out the people from the slavery of Dikkus. Soon thousands of people began to follow Birsa, believing that he was Bhagwan, means God, and had come to solve their problems. And what happened after this? Soon many people started following Birsa and they believed that really he was a god and a person sent by the god. Now see, Birsa was born in a family of Mundas, a tribal group that live in Chota Nagpur. See, one tribal group is there in Chota Nagpur, Mundas. In that family, Birsa was born. His followers included other tribal regions, Santals and Orans. See, others were there, Santals and Orans tribals were there. They were also ready and they were also the followers of Birsa. All of them in different ways were unhappy with the changes they were experiences and problems they were facing under the British rule. See, now these tribal peoples were living in the forest. They were roaming in the forest. They were using the things of the forest, forest products for their livelihood, and they were thinking that forest is all and sole things for them. But after the British rule, they suffered a lot. They suffered a lot, and the ample of problems they had to face. Their families, familiar ways of life seemed to be disappearing. Their livelihoods were under the threat, and their religion appeared to be in danger. See, basic things means all these things are counted as their culture. Means basically their culture is in danger, they felt. Now see, what problems did Birsa set out to resolve? Who were the outsider being referred to as Dikkus and how did they enslave the people of the region? What was happening to the tribal people under the British? See, we have seen who is Birsa. People were following him. The society life of tribals life came in danger. Their culture was in danger. So how Birsa solved the problems? How they were how the tribals were suffering because of the British rule? Who were the Dikkus? These are the some of the questions that we are going to read about in this chapter. Now the tribal life. Now we will see about the tribal life. See, tribal societies last years had tribal societies. You have seen something about the last year also. Most tribes had customs and rituals that were very different from those laid down by Brahmins. Now, see, you have seen that Brahmins laid down the type of society, caste based society was there, something religious and rituals were there. So, all these things were not followed in the tribal society. These societies also did not have sharp social divisions that were characterized on caste societies. Whatever some of the principles were there in the caste based society were not there in this society. All those who belong to the same tribe bought themselves as sharing common ties of kinship. See, all belonging to one caste, one tribe were just living together. However, this did not mean that there were no social and economic differences within tribes. But because of that, you cannot say that there was no economic and social difference. Economic and social differences were there, but then also the how the in caste based society some of the things were there, principles were strict principles were that those type of things were not prevailing in this tribal society. Now, how did the tribal groups live? See, some were Jhum cultivators. Some were Jhum cultivators. Some of them practice Jhum cultivation, that is shifting cultivation. Jhum cultivation means a shifting cultivation. In this was done on a small patch of land, mostly in the forest. See, tribals were living in the forest, so they were practicing this type of shifting cultivation in the forest. The tree cultivators cut the tree top to allow sunlight to reach the ground and burn the vegetation on the land to clear it for cultivation. See what the cultivators were doing. They see very thick, dense forests were there. So they were cutting the tree tops to allow the sunlight to reach the ground. So they are cutting the tree tops to allow the sunlight to reach the ground, means sunlight ground तक आ सके ऐसे वो ट्री के टॉप कट कर देते थे. And burn the vegetation on the land. See, in dense forest vegetation is there on the land also, so then they are burning the vegetation also on the land. They spread the ash from the firing which contain potash to fertilize the soil. See, when they are burning the trees, they are burning the vegetation which were there on the ground. Whatever the ash is there, after burning the ash is there, that ash is containing much more of potash, so that is used as the land fertilizer. They use the axe head to cut the trees and hoe to stretch the soil in order to prepare it for cultivation, and they were using such type of things. And they, for the cultivation, they broadcast the seeds that is scattered on the seed broadcast the seeds that is scattered the seeds on the field instead of plowing the land and sowing the seeds. See, they were not plowing the land and sowing the seed inside the land, but they are scattering the seeds. Once the crop was ready and harvested, they moved to another field. Once the crop was ready एंड हार्वेस्टेड दे मूव टू अनदर फील्ड. एक बार यहाँ पे से ले लिया उन्होंने एक क्रॉप, फिर वो दे मूव टू अनदर लैंड. अ फील्ड दैट वॉज बीन कल्टिवेटेड वंस वॉज लेफ्ट फैलो फॉर सेवरल ईयर्स. एक बार जो जगह पे जो फील्ड पे से वो क्रॉप ले लेते थे, वो फील्ड फिर बहुत टाइम तक क्या रहता था, फैलो रह जाता था. फैलो मीन्स अनकल्टिवेटेड फॉर सो मैनी ईयर्स टिल द सॉइल कवर्स द फर्टिलिटी. वो सॉइल में वापस फर्टिलिटी आने तक वो सॉइल ऐसी ही रह जाती थी. Now, shifting cultivators were found in hilly and the forest tract of northwest and central India. See, where you can found this type of people? You can found in the hilly forest of northwest and central India. The lives of these tribal people depended on free movement within the forest and on being able to use the land of forest for growing their crops. That is the only way they could practice shifting cultivation, and they again and again they are going one place another place and they are doing the shifting cultivation. Now what happens, see, these some are doing the cultivation, Jhum cultivation, but now some were the hunter gatherers. In many regions, tribal groups lived in hunting animals and gathering forest produce. See, all are not doing the farming work. Some of them are what doing, some of them are hunting animals and gathering the forest produce. See, forest is giving many of the things, important things. Some of the things we are not knowing, but the tribal people were knowing that these things are useful. They saw forest as essential for survival. The Khans were such a community living in the forest of Orissa. Khans were living in the forest of Orissa. They regularly went out on collective hunt and they divided the meat among themselves. See, collectively together they were going for hunting. Then whatever meat they are collecting after hunting, they are dividing in the all of them. They eat fruits and roots collected from the forest and cooked food with the oil they extracted from the seeds of sal and mahua. See, from these sal and mawa, they are getting the oil. That oil is used for the cooking. They use many forest herbs for medical purpose and sold forest produce in local markets. They were selling the forest produces in local markets also. The local weavers and leather workers turned to the khans when they needed supplies of kusum or palash flowers to color their clothes and leather. See, leather merchants, cloth weavers were collecting some of the flowers for the coloring, making dye and coloring work, though they are collecting those things from the corn pub tribes. See, these are the hunter gatherers. Now, some herded animals, See, first we have seen hunter gatherers. Now, some herded animals means they are doing the cattle rearing work. Many tribal groups lived in herding and rearing animals. They were pastoralists who moved with their herds of cattle or sheep according to the season. See, according to the season, they are moving from one place to another. When the grass in one place was exhausted, they moved to another area. The Van Gurjar of the Punjab hills and the Labadis of Andhra Pradesh were cattle herders. Van Gurjar of Punjab hills and Labadis of Andhra Pradesh were the cattle herders. The Gaddis of Kulu were shepherds and the Bakwals of Kashmir were gods. All these things we will see in our next year also. The further things are coming. Means basically the Van Gurjar of Punjab hills, the Labadis of Andhra Pradesh were cattle herders. Gaddis of Kulu were shepherds and the Bakrawals of Kashmir are the goat rearers. These are the peoples of they are the herded animals. Some took the cattle cultivation. Very often some people within the clan acquired more power than others. Some became chief of the other followers. Powerful men often there rented or out their land instead of cultivating themselves. See now some of the places what happened in even before the 19th century, many from within the tribal groups had begun settling down. See now after roaming they started settling and cultivating their fields in one place year after year instead of moving from place to place. In year after year they are taking the crop instead of moving from one place to another. They began to use plow. They gradually got rights over the land they lived on in many cases. Like Mundas of Chota Nagpur, the land belonged to the clan as a whole. All members of the clan were regarded as descendants of the original settlers. See, other people were the clans were the counted as the descendant of the settlers means those who were settled there from the long times. Original settlers who had first cleared the land. Therefore, all of them had rights on the land. Very often, some people within the clan acquired more power. See, some people within the clan acquired more power, and some become chief and other the following. Some became the chief and other the followers. Powerful men often rented out their land instead of cultivating it themselves. Powerful people got the land instead of cultivating themselves. These who lived in the forest were considered to be wild, and then afterward what happened? British officers saw settled tribal groups like the Gonds and Santhal as more civilized. British officials saw settled tribal groups like Gonds and Santals were more civilized than the hunter-gatherers or shifting cultivators. See, obviously you notice that tribals, those who are roaming here and there, they were not civilized compared to those who were settled. So Britishers felt like that. Those who lived in the forest were considered to be wild and savages. Those who were living in the forest were considered as wild and savage. And they needed to be settled and civilized. And Britishers thought that those people should also be settled. We should make them also settled and civilized. See, these are the feature of the Gonds. Gonds, mostly these Adivasis, you can feel that those all are the same. So these type of Adivasis, then these type of tribal groups were there. All are thinking in some of the places, some work they are doing outside also. Some tribal groups were doing work in the village cities also. Village is also nearby, they need some work. Sometimes they are exchanging their things, forest produces with the village merchants. Sometimes because of the lack of things, they are doing the work of the hardship also they are facing. Some of the work also they were doing in the town and villages, but some of them are thinking that this was against their dignity. Some tribal groups are not ready to mix with the people in the town or cities, and they were thinking it is against the our dignity, we can't do such type of works. Many such type of problems were there, and then Britishers felt that these groups were also to be civilized. But how did colonial rule affect tribal lives? How did colonial rule affect tribal lives? That we will see in the next video lecture. Thank you.